superstitious writings on the wall. Very superstitious letters about to fall. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. 7 years of bad luck, your good things in your past. When you believe in things that you don't understand, and you suffer. Superstition is the way.
Oh, I should wear a light colored gi. I didn't even think about that. It won't matter. What's up, everybody? Whoever's on here watching. If you're watching on Facebook, welcome. I usually don't stream on Facebook, but because I'm doing this kind of every night and stuff, I figured I'd add it back and see how it goes. Sometimes what happens with the chat and Facebook and stuff is somehow like the stream gets behind. Like the live is behind what's actually live, and so you'll ask me questions, and you'll be asking me questions about things from like a minute or a half ago. I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, and you ask me something and I'm like way past it or whatever, I ignore it for a long time, it's probably because the chats or your video is behind or whatever. So so sorry if that happens. If you want to chat, probably going to Twitch or YouTube is better because I'll see the chat more reliably, but YouTube or Facebook's fine. So welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you had a good day of being wherever you were, inside probably somewhere, or maybe got outside to take a walk. The weather, at least in my area here in Maryland, is getting better. I think it's supposed to be like 80 on Friday, but rain in. So you know, get out and take a walk too. You know, just don't touch anybody, I guess. We're probably gonna break that rule tonight, so sorry. If you watched last night, you saw me kind of go over, hey, what's up, Doug? Nice to see you in here. If you watched last night, I started this week of half guard, bottom half guard, not top half That's a whole nother week. We'll do that next week, maybe, if we're still in this situation. But what I talked about last night was basically the straight fundamental stuff. You're starting when you're flat in the worst spot you can be. Start to create frames. Need to get a good bridge, create a little space, get the underhook, grab the far side toes, pull them towards you, switch your feet, straighten that leg out, come up, drive them forward. Old school sweep, as we call it, apparently. We were talking about that last night, and that a bunch of the other people in the stream, that's all they had ever heard it called too. So I was like, seems pretty straightforward. So I'll show that really real quick, or I'll show the concept for that again real quick and just recap. But then we'll move on to the next thing in that kind of sequence of what's going to happen. Because what's going to happen most of the time when you're in half guard and you get the underhook, one of the two things is going to happen. One of the two things. One of two things is going to happen. They're either going to start fighting back to get that underhook back, or they're going to whizzer. Because if they whizzer hard, it's going to keep you from coming up, most likely. So we're going to assume they're going to whizzer and keep us down. We're going to work on something basically to combat that, what we're going to do when that happens, okay? That being said, before I start, anybody have any questions about anything? Anyone want to say anything before we get started? Like I said, there's some folks on Facebook here. I usually don't do it on Facebook, so although, they might see me asking this in like a minute. I don't know how this is going. So like I said, hopefully it stays up. Also, last time the internet dropped out at one point. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But if it does, we'll get it back up and keep going, so don't worry about that. So if you have no questions, I'm going to, like I said, recap real quick what we kind of worked on last night, and then we'll get into tonight's stuff. So I'm going to start in bottom half guard. Let me think, what's the best position to show this here? We'll go here. This is probably the best. So, and we're going to start where you've gotten all the way down. You've got the underhook on the head. Oh, yeah. See, this is where I used to, what's with the new digs? Oh, yeah, you're a little behind on some stuff, Doug. I'll have to update you. But this is a little spot I kind of have now. So that's the whole thing. Anyway, so as you can tell, this is generally not where I want to be. As you can tell from my voice, a lot of his weight's on me. If you're watching last night, even with Ingrid on me, who weighs a lot less than Mr. Kyle here, I was still not feeling very happy. So, as I said last night, this is where I don't want to be. Actually, we got to scoot back a little bit. I just realized I'm not checking the video. I'm a little too high. Also, let me know if you're having trouble hearing me or anything like that. Last time we were here, it was all good. Everybody here heard me fine, so shouldn't be a problem. But let me know if there's any issues. So he gets me flattened back down, and we're stuck here. I'm like, oh, this sucks. So we're going to begin to start building our way out of this, working on frames. Remember, we're not coming over top because we're giving opportunities for them to start attacking our arm. When we start getting across here, that happens too. We don't want that. So we're going to frame in, boom, here. And remember, I'm getting my frame on this hip, but I'm not using my hand as much as the palm or the heel of my hand. Because if you're watching last night when I was explaining how if you put your hand here and they drop their weight, and I tried to kind of show with Miss Ingrid, if I do that with Kyle and he decides to do that, even if he does it accidentally because he's not thinking or whatever, it's going to be a horrible day for me. Okay, so if I use my hand on his hip and he decides to just drop, boom, I'm going to wrist lock him. I'm going to be screaming pretty quick. Okay, so I'm using kind of the nub of my wrist and into my forearm basically to kind of create this frame here. I'm stepping so I can get as kind of as big as the bridge as I need. Last night I was talking about how we're going to use this bridge to create some space to underhook with this arm, and depending on the size of our opponent, it's going to be, we're going to get a little bit more space, a little less space, depending on how their pressure is, depending on how their size is. So with like someone like Kyle, I'm not going to get a lot of space to get under. So when we talked about this, and if you missed any of this, just go back and watch yesterday's stream after this, or watch this. If you're watching this like saved after we did it live, go watch last night's stream, then watch this one, because it will really explain all that. But I'm stepping, I'm bridging. I'm just gonna. I'm stepping, bridging, and using whatever space I can get to shrimp my hip out and use the underhook here. Okay. Sometimes I'm gonna have to, especially against, to be honest, someone like Kyle. When I frame and I bridge, I really need to drive and make it kind of uncomfortable for him, which is going to make him think a lot less about keeping all the pressure on me, and maybe give me another inch of space. Maybe not, you know, you never know. So I got my frames, I step, I bridge, and underhook. He's going to come back down on me because he wants to keep that weight, but I have the underhook here. Remember we talked about now, this isn't still great for me. I'm staying on my side as best as I can, and not getting flattened, but he's going to be trying to flatten me out. But what I can do now is I can use this to start to strip my hip out, or use my knee to bump him and help to get out. It's going to look something like this. So we're here, and I'm kind of bumping here. And I get up to my side, and then we're ready to either come up if we can, or start to do the sweep we worked on last night. Okay? So, like I said, if you want to see that sweep, go back and watch it from last night. But that's going to be my step 1 through 3 almost every time I'm working from that position, if I can. Because to get the space and create the underhook is going to open up everything else, especially against someone like Kyle. If I sit there and I don't get that underhook, it's going to be hell for me because I'm going to have to move him a lot to get space. I'm going to be carrying his weight a lot. I don't want to do all that, okay? So if I get the underhook, when he starts to pressure into me and crush me down, I can scoot and shrimp. Again, shrimping is a huge part of all this, especially a lot of half guard stuff. If you're not good at shrimping, you're probably going to have a hard time making a lot of these work because the shrimping is so important in terms of getting and scooting your hips out and stuff. If I know it seems funny here, it's a great thing. I mean, if you're stuck at home, work on shrimping. I know it may seem boring. It might seem stupid if you've been doing this for years or whatever, but I don't think your shrimp can ever be perfect enough. You always something to work on with that. And if you're newer, you should be drilling that a lot because that's guys like Kyle. The shrimp is so important for me because that's what's getting me out from under him. That's what's creating different angles that he can't get his weight and basically crush and keep me down. It's being able to shrimp properly and move out, and not trying to move him a lot, moving me a lot. Okay. So what's going to happen a lot of times? Anyone have any questions about that? Before I move on, any questions about that setup? Like I said, if you're interested in the sweep from last night, watch it last night. But I'm talking about the frames, the fundamental stuff, because I'll go over that again. That's really important. So if you have a question about that or anything, I'll go over that again, just to make sure you understand, because that's like a huge part of that. If you don't get that part right, most everything else isn't going to work from half guard. You're going to have to really kind of develop a weird game. I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know. It's a half guard game I haven't worked out yet. So, give you your blue belt now. Sorry, I don't know. I mean, you've been doing jiu-jitsu for 8 years, and maybe it's time. I don't know. You can come train with us eventually, and then eventually you'll get a blue belt. So it seems like no one has any questions about that. So I'm going to move on. So what's going to happen when you get the underhook? One of two things is going to happen. I think we already just talked about this. They're either going to shoot here. Let me get on top. So we're going to go bottom half guard. So if I'm on top here, right, and he gets that underhook, I'm doing one of two things. Okay, and I'll be honest. The thing is, what I want to do is I want to fight in elbow and fight for this underhook back. This is good. This can be a fight where you're kind of both fighting for this underhook a lot, like this kind of stuff. We are here, and it's really like a battle to see who can get that underhook. I feel like what I do when I'm not getting the underhook very well, or I just know I can't get that back, I will whizzer, which is like boom here, really hard. If you can see this, like I said, we have the same color gi, so if you have trouble, it's bright enough in here, it shouldn't be a problem. But because with this underhook, if I don't whizzer, he can bump me and start to come up. So I need to stop that. So I'm going to wrap my arm around and kind of tuck it and just wrap it around. I'm trying to think of a more intelligent word than wrap for this. But I'm getting over here hooking. What's up, facility? And then I'm kind of driving my chest and using my weight because now he can't come up into me. I'm not in a good spot, but at least I can control this a little bit. So we're going to go and we're going to react when people do this, okay? I'm going to show you one of the things I do, or try to do. So, let's say, I'm trying to think of best angle for this. So here, boom. It's probably gonna be, tell you what, we'll start this way, and then we'll do it both ways, so that way we can kind of get both angles. So I'm here in half guard, and I've done that whole thing. I created my frames, I made space, and I got my underhook. Okay, so I got the underhook here, and he's gonna whizzer and wrap here. And if you go ahead and move this arm out of the way. So if you see, his arm's wrapped into here. Sometimes even people will grab your gi. I tend to not do that. Like some people will do that. Here's the thing, if they do this, it's gonna make what we're gonna do even easier. So if they do this, I'm almost 100% always gonna do this, okay? But let's assume they don't do this, because we gotta work on the worst case scenario here. So if he whizzers here and I can't come up now, I'm stuck, I got to start using a concept that's going to be huge in your half guard game. And it's a seesaw type thing that we can do. Okay, as you get into better positions in half guard, you're going to kind of use this push, pull back and forth, because you could go one of two ways. If I can get him to fall over that way, and I can come up and sweep. But also if I can make him kind of roll this way in some way, I'm also going to get a sweep that way. Okay, so I have to play with that. So in this case, because he's taking my avenue of coming up away, now I gotta move the other way. I can't go this way, so I'm gonna go this way. So what I'm gonna do, and we're gonna break this down slow. A lot of times you can't do it step by step like this. You kind of have to do it all at once, because if you do the first step first, they feel what you're doing, and then they'll respond to it, and we don't want that. But let's scoot a little bit this way. So what I'm gonna do essentially is this. I'm going to take this outside hand that's, got this underhook, and I'm going to wrap it under and kind of grab. I'm either going to grab on his sleeve, or I'm going to grab the wrist. I'm just going to control this. If I can hug it hard enough to lock it in, or maybe hook it like this, I'm going to do that. All I'm trying to do is lock his arm in so he can't post with it, okay? So now that I've had this, go ahead and come back over. Now that I have this locked down, I got to do something with my feet. So we're going to spin a little bit, turn this way. Here. Okay, so now that I have that whizzer hooked, I have to switch my feet. Because what I want to do is I want to take my hips, go under him, and then roll him to my left. Not really roll him as much as move under him and kind of basically lay him on his side. Okay, but I can't do it when my feet are like this. If I grab here and I try to do it with my feet like this, I'm never going to get enough kind of an angle to get him over, okay? So what I do is I got to control the wrist here. I'm switching my feet. Now I'm flattening my hip and essentially shrimping under him, okay? If I need to grab here and lift because it helps a little bit, or underhook and lift, I can, but you shouldn't really have to do that, okay? So what I'm going to do now is, right now my hips are facing you guys. I want my hips facing the sky. Because as soon as I take my hips and face the sky, his weight is all over me now, on top of me. And all I have to do is just kind of roll to my side. And see how easy he falls off? Now I'm not usually going to come up like this, because he's going to keep a grip on my legs. So we're going to end up coming up, go ahead and use this hand. Yeah, we're going to come up into like a half guard on top ourselves. Okay? Now it might have looked super simple and easy. It's because when you hit it correctly and you use your hips properly, it really is. It's funny, Facility, I only really know him through here because he just came on my channel sometimes, but he does jujitsu stuff on here too. But it seems like we have a very similar game with a lot of stuff. I think it's just an old man game, really, because he's an older guy like me too. So, but the thing is, if I'm shrimping, using my hips to shrimp under him properly, I'm not really lifting him at all. Think about it like this. I'm here, my hips are facing this way, and I got control of him. I'm flattening, which all I'm doing is flattening, and his weight goes on top of me. And then I'm just kind of tipping over and coming up. So I'm not lifting him up and over. I'm controlling, shrimping under, rolling over. Okay? So let's see it again. And let's see it from the other angle. So we'll turn this way. And this is probably where you can actually see this a little better. That's why I saved it for last, because it's the best angle for this. So we're here, I got my frames, I underhooked, right? He doesn't want me to come up, so he whizzes, yeah, see? And now I'm like stuck, I'm flattened out. Like even if I can get up to my elbow
it's still a fight where he can wait, put all his weight. Yeah, I'm not gonna fight that fight. That's a, you know, unless I'm using it to create space to like regard or something, I'm gonna waste a lot of energy there. So now that he's wizard, I'm gonna trap. Now sometimes it's like if he's really deep, I can kind of get the elbow and trap. But really, what I'm shooting for, and it's going to be kind of, I'll show you all full speed after this. I'm really just trying to hug and trap so that he can't pull his arm out. You know, especially in gi. No gi, you can do this too, but it's going to be easier for them to pull this out. Work smarter, not harder, absolutely. Especially against this guy. I'll get so tired if I work hard against him. So I got this trapped, and now I'm ready. But remember, my feet. If I don't switch my feet, I'm going to come under him like this, and he's going to smash me down. And it's not going to be good. Okay? When I switch my feet now, though, my hips have enough movement to strip under. And as you see, now that I'm stripped under, it's easy for me to roll him over. And the thing is, if he's open and I can come up here, boom, this side control, great. You know? But they're going to probably a lot of times going to grab my leg and try to hold that and everything. So, does that make sense for everybody? Like I said, the thing that's most important on this sweep is I'm going to do it without you on this one. Is really I have to really think about my hips. Like anything in jiu-jitsu, I got to think about my hips. Because when I start this, he's on top of me. I'm grabbing that arm, but my hips are facing out this way. Okay? And if I just try to roll, I'm trying to lift his weight, which is here, up and over me, and then over. Okay? It's not going to work. Especially, I'm not going to be able to do that to Kyle. When I trap this, and then I have that, switch of my legs. I'm here, I switch inside. Now I'm shrimping my hips under. That's it. It's like a reverse shrimp. Instead of shrimping my hips out, I'm shrimping my hips in. Now he's right above me, and all I have to do is tip myself over a little bit, and move myself out a little bit. It's going to go right here. This is what I love about these types of sweeps, is that when you do them correctly, they feel like weightless almost. Like you don't have, I don't feel his weight, you know? So does anyone have any questions about that? I'm interested to see where the Facebook is on this. There's only one person watching right now. I wonder if it's behind or not. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to check real quick. I also wanted to get a little drink. So. Okay, so right now it's me getting the drink. So it's actually not that bad. Okay, good. Facebook's keeping up pretty well today. I'm happy about that. I'll take it. So that's the reaction we're going to have. We're going to do when someone whizzers hard like that. Okay? It's probably going to take you a couple times. A lot of times you're not going to, control the arm enough. Sometimes you won't roll your hips well enough. Sometimes you'll forget to switch your feet, and then you'll go for it, and it won't work at all. And then they know what you're trying, and it's gonna be a lot harder after that. There's a lot of things that will happen with this, but when you start hitting it well, it works pretty well, and it feels good because it feels so effortless. You feel kind of bad about it almost. One thing I will talk about, and then we'll finish up, and then I think what we're gonna do after that is Kyle and I wanted to train a little bit, so I think I'll probably put the camera up on the top of this thing, and we'll probably roll for a little bit, and you guys can just watch, and hopefully I'm not getting killed. You might see him murder me tonight, or not, I don't know. So, but one of the things I wanted to talk about this, and just this is starting to maybe think a little bit ahead. Maybe it's for something that's, maybe for blue belt or a little bit more advanced, something to think about. Sometimes I know, or sometimes I've had it fail a lot, but I've learned to build on the failure. And what I mean is, if I don't trap the arm well enough, usually what happens when I roll
is that they can base out in some way, okay? So now my sweep has gone away. But what just happened? Let's explore that a little bit because we have a couple minutes, okay? So let's explore that a little bit. Let's go here. You can come up this way. So if you remember when we were talking about, you know, the half guard and stuff, I talked about how important it was for me to get that underhook and get a deep underhook and kind of get out, you know, and how sometimes we get underhook but we're kind of smashed and it's not as good, but it gives us an opportunity to get out and blah, 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 blah. Well, in this case, you know, I got the underhook, he whizzered on my arm, so I'm going for a sweep. If it doesn't work, like he gets his arm out or whatever, I got to be ready for that. And what am I going to do with it? I can't do that sweep anymore, right? But what's going to happen is this. So we're here. Go ahead, loser. I got this track, but let's say I don't have a good track. So when I go to switch and I go to turn, boom, here, he faces out. Okay? Well, now I'm never going to get the sweep. But what's happened here? Look here. See all this space here under his arm? That underhook space that I needed just opened up pretty big. Now, if I'm slow on this, I'm not going to get as, you know, I take advantage of this. But what if I do it like this? Go get that loser back. I go here, I switch my feet, I go, he faces out, I come up, boom, use that to come back out, shrimp back out. Now I got the underhook, I'm on my side, I'm ready to come out, boom, here, come up. Okay? So what I was trying wasn't successful, but because I've messed that up so many times or failed, or they just know what I've been doing so many times, I started to build in that I'm going to use that as an opportunity to go right back for that underhook and get a better underhook than I had before. And then once I have that deep of underhook, excuse me, and I'm turned up on my side as like I am, it's going to be a lot harder for him to now flatten me back out, whizzer back. I'm going to be ahead of that whizzer now a little bit. So when you're going for this, and if it fails, maybe you're not fast enough. Maybe your reaction isn't fast enough to get that underhook back and shrimp out enough. But just try to see that it's there. Because once you see that it's there, you can start to work on it, you know, and then once your shrimp gets better maybe or whatever, there might be a day, months from now or a year from now where you revisit that and you've got those things down and then bam, they base out, boom, right back into it, you know. And that's just all this stuff is we just build on it, you know, step by step, boom, 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 you know, and kind of just build on top of these little basic things that start to open up more advanced stuff. That's all really, you know, with the side of some particular like maneuver configurations and things and, you know, whatever, you know, essentially the advanced jiu-jitsu is essentially just reacting to these type of things, being ahead of it, you know, basically knowing what can happen in the situation. So when the sweep doesn't work, you're already ready to move on to the next thing. They're still reacting to the sweep when you're already got the underhook back and came out. Now they're worried about you attacking their back and they, you know, they just kept you from getting the sweep you were trying for. Now you have their back, you know? So it's like building on top of this kind of stuff. Excuse me. Is everybody okay with that? Make sense? We got people watching on all platforms now. Look at that. Even the YouTubes. If we don't have any more questions about that, or anything that anybody would like to ask about that, half guard in general, we're going to continue working on half guard this week. Tomorrow, I think we're going to start talking about knee shield a little bit, knee shield half guard, or some people call it Z guard, whatever. Million different names for all these different things. I'm just going to show you a thing. You know, I'm going to show you configuration of my body and somebody else's body. Call it whatever you want. You can call it the milkshake. I don't care. So, unless anybody has any other questions, I think we're going to put some music on and start rolling a little bit. We'll see how much I got in me tonight. I think we'll just go on timed and maybe have a longer roll or just a flowing roll or not a flow roll necessarily. We can start flowing and then kind of work into it or whatever. Yep. So if everybody's cool with that, we'll go ahead and just get started on that. Or if you're on Facebook and it somehow got behind by like a million minutes, you know, ask. Maybe I'll see your chat and respond. Uh-oh.
Come on, guard.
Oh, no, I took it out already. All right, I was like, that's a bummer. All right, let's see here. I gotta
Hey, we are hooked up to that. Oh, music's been playing this whole time.
Oh, nice.
My bad.
I like this speaker.
Oh, let me move that. You know what? I'm gonna switch it, but the mix I got is similar.
Works.
If I can find it. Alright. The people next door are gone, so we're not gonna disturb anybody.
Yeah. Let's rock out.
Let me grab a drink real quick. Alright. Oh,
Go switch.
yeah, I'm gonna switch the camera angle on this. Maybe give you guys a better angle on this terrifying thing that we have right now. Guess I should have done this ahead of time. Hook it up, man.
Yeah, man.
All right. Okay. It says you're about me to cut out.
Yeah.
All right, sir, you ready?
Let's go.
All right.
I'm good.
Alright, let's take a minute break. And then we'll restart. Whew. Yeah, bro, go ahead. Kick it.
Hey, babe. What's up? Cool.
If you gotta go or whatever, something that's fine.
Cool. Sounds good. Okay, no problem. Okay. Cool. Sound good, baby. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Yeah. What's up, people?
Yeah, what they say?
Nothing. They're just watching us. Good to go.
Sound good.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, my calf cramped a little bit. Trying hard though, Doug. Trust me. I know, right?
They're entertainment for the man. Get to your feet quick.
Give me a second here.
Woo!
I don't remember how long Doug's been training. A couple years now, at least.
Who done?
Doug.
Yeah.
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 Maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I think. That's tiring. I don't think I should have ate so close to getting here. Is there anything you wanted to work on?
Yeah, I want to put bottom half for some stuff in there.
Okay. Maybe just like line maybe trucking there or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I can just hold it.
Oh, whatever. We can just start. That's
I'll
fine.
end up there.
Whoa. I'm kind of happy with that.
Smash half's good.
Right? Okay, ready? Good.
good?
Yeah, that's funny.
My stomach's not doing well.
Yeah. Take it easy. You want to cut?
What's that? Yeah, I think I'm good. Whew. Making sure. Whew. I could go a little longer, but there's a risk I'm gonna throw up on
No, don't do that. That'll be epic though.
Chris in the new place.
Yeah, that would be great.
Nice to happen, so.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I think I might have had some bad happen with my coffee yesterday.
Yeah, man, take it easy.
My stomach's a little weird today.
Yeah. Actually,
Huh?
it's good to move, you know? Just kind of.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Whew. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Hopefully they had some fun watching that. He's a lot to deal with. But, thing is, working with him. Oh. Hey Google, stop playing. Hey Google, stop playing. He don't want to listen. You just hit the front of it or you can pause it. Just scroll down from the top. There should be a play. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Face recognition?
No. It's not one of those ones that I have it so if you hit the front it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, in your pocket.
it would always come on. So anyway. Nice roll. Hey, thanks Andre. This is the new location. Still a lot of questions to be answered about it moving forward, but yeah, we're going to be doing classes and stuff out of here and working with some other business stuff in the area. So, want to know how you threw him over when you were rolling? I have to go back and watch it. So with him, a lot of times I'm just reacting to what's going on. So I do stuff, and if I watch it, I go, "Oh, I did this." But a lot of times I'm just trying to make sure he doesn't underhook my head. Make sure he doesn't get in on me. If you notice, watching throughout the rolls, no website yet, but soon.
You don't let me underhook your head. You don't let
Yeah,
me
sorry.
way too far.
So if you watch the rolls we just did, one of the things you'll probably notice throughout what I was trying my best to do, and for the most part I was successful with it, was controlled distance. Using my feet on his hips, frames, controlling a grip. A lot of things to make it that he couldn't essentially close the distance on me and flatten me out. There's a couple times he got me a little flat, but like I had the underhook enough that I could get out and stuff. But if you watch, most of the time that's what I'm really focusing on, more than even going for sweeps. I'm looking for opportunities, but I'm not giving up an opportunity. Like I'm not going for an opportunity where I'm going to miss it and let him get in on me. Because once he gets in on me, I mean, look, I did a pretty good job of keeping him off me that whole time, and I'm tired. If he gets in on me and crushes me and like gets that distance closed, it's a whole bunch of work to get out of there. So I think what I did well most of the time was controlling distance, pulling him in, pushing him out, pushing the hips, make sure I had basically using all four of my posts in some way at all times. I think that's about it. I'll watch it afterwards, Andre. Like I'll watch it a little later, and I'll tell you what I did, or I'll show you what I did, because to be honest, I don't fucking remember. I have no idea. So, yeah, towards the end of that, I was just kind of like, don't throw up. Just don't throw up. Be ready to like stop if you're gonna throw up. So, anyway, I think we're gonna go ahead and finish up now. It's almost 9. Hopefully, you've had everybody that's watching and watching this afterwards or whatever. Had a good week of information coming at you. You know, I kind of know it sucks you can't go to the place and train or you whatever, but you know, this is an opportunity where like some of the best people in the world are just giving away free stuff. They're just giving, you know, telling you, you know, doing live videos every day, doing all this stuff. So take advantage of it, because I've never seen this happen in like this industry before, where, you know, basically everybody just start giving away tons of stuff. So it's probably gonna be a long time again before this happens. So go to Trap BJJ, go to BJJ Fanatics, and take advantage of the free stuff they're giving away. Watch these streams, and then obviously just continue to support your local people. Remember that they're mostly all small businesses are trying to just, you know, take care of things and make the best of the situation. So, all right, I'm gonna get out of here before I throw up on camera, and we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be continuing on the half guard stuff we've been working on. Okay, come back tomorrow and see you all then.
See you guys.